Run wild with
Hello.
us, ask us anything. And so this time I am here with Lisa Montaigne, and Lisa is she's like our event extraordinaire. She was at the helm of events that we've held in the past. She is also an artist in many ways, and so I'm really, really excited to have Lisa here with me today. So for those of us who maybe you haven't joined before, maybe it's been a while, I'm Lisa Kastner. I'm the founder and executive editor of Running Wild Press. We have been blessed with multiple starred reviews. We have two books that were named to Best of 2019. We've had a book that was named to Best of July 2020. We've been in Emmy Award bags. We've been in SAG Award bags. So we've had a lot of really amazing stuff. And we recently launched the Rise imprint, which is for genre stories written by people of color. And Andrea Johnson is at the helm of that imprint as well. So we're super excited today to be here with you. If you have any questions during the course of this live stream event, go ahead, pop them in the comments, and we will be more than happy to answer those questions. And what I'll do is, as we're going, I'll just simply repeat the question that was put in the live stream, and then we can take it from there. If you are watching this and it is after December 12th at 2 p.m. in Pacific time, that is not a big deal. Go ahead, pop your question in the chat, and then what I'm going to do is during the week, I go back and I look for any new additional questions. So super excited. Cannot wait to get this started. So, Lisa, my first question for you is, you are going to be our MC for the Running Wild 2021 catalog speakeasy launch. This tremendous live streaming event that we have this Tuesday, December 15th at 1 p.m. Pacific time. Guys, if you're watching this, you've got to tune into that. It is going to be so spectacular. I can't even tell you how exciting it's going to be. It is truly going to be amazing. So, but I have to ask, Lisa, what are you really looking forward to in hosting this event?
Well, I'm really excited about this because I'm going to be interviewing a bunch of authors that have been published by Running Wild Press. So if you are interested in seeing those people and what they're like and hearing from them, then you should join us. It's going to be our biggest event of the year, or the biggest event that Running Wild's done so far. The authors are going to be from around the country and around the world. And so that's all really super exciting. We have somebody in London, somebody coming to us from France. We have people coming from Connecticut, and all over the place. So Lisa and I live in Southern California, but we're going to be connecting with people in all of those places, all over the place. And so I'm super excited about it. All of our authors are very interesting, super interesting, wonderful people. And it's going to be really a privilege to interview them and to speak with them. And it's going to be super, super fun.
Awesome.
Yeah, so that's what I'm looking forward to most. We will be, introducing their works that are coming out in the coming year, in the first half of 2021. So I'll be speaking with them about that, talking about the reviews they've gotten, talking to them about their work, their past work, their work that's coming up. And we have a special guest. And Lisa, you're going to be interviewing our special guest. So maybe you can tell us about her.
Sure. So we're honored to have Purchista Kakpour, who is the author of Sick, and she and several other both novels and collections of essays. And I've known Poro for 10 years. She was actually one of my mentors at Fairfield University, and she is one of the most kindest souls that you've ever met in your entire life. On top of it, she's stunningly gorgeous. She's incredibly brilliant, and she's just fantastic to talk to. So I'm so excited to be able to talk to Poro on Tuesday. We're going to have a lot of fun. Okay, so
Yes, yes. So,
go ahead.
oh yeah, I was just going to say, yeah, that's all going to be very exciting. So she's going to be at the end of the session, and Lisa's going to interview her because she was her mentor, and so we're all excited about that.
Awesome. Um, do you have a question for me, or do you want me to ask you a question? So I think Lisa actually made
Yeah,
it through.
yeah,
Oh, okay.
I'm
Good.
yeah. Um, yeah, I have some questions for you. Um, so you started Running Wild in, I want to say 2015, is that right?
2016. Mm-hmm.
2016. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So 2020 has been so challenging for all of us in so many ways. But things have still been kind of going on with Running Wild Press. So tell us about how 2020 was with you with the press, and what takeaways you had from that.
Oh, sure. So 2020, it wasn't wasn't necessarily a big impact on us. We had, well, actually, let me take that back. We had some people who work for us that, because of impacts to themselves, their businesses, and their families, we had a lot of delays in getting certain books to market. So, case in point, literally this morning, I was working on finishing up the cover, um, the cover copy for our annual novella anthology, which normally it's out by now. We typically have it out in time for Christmas. But unfortunately, we had several delays because, different people who are part of our team had, were personally impacted by COVID. And so they just simply couldn't get things done in the time frame that we normally have it done. So that for me, that's more of it's a disappointment, and I actually am more so concerned about the people's families and themselves and their health. Um, Other than that, it's been I think we've been pretty blessed with some great stories. I mean, we really did have, we've put out some amazing, phenomenal stories. Like Guy Jean was actually by Sour Sleeper. It was recommended by Amazon. We actually found out that Amazon, they'll put out a, hey, since you love this, you'll love these kinds of stories. And we were contacted by several people who said, oh my gosh, Guy Jean was like number one of stories recommended to me. So that's amazing. It's tremendous. We had The Many Deaths of Cole Parker was actually picked by BookBub to be a featured release, which again, that was just a tremendous honor. We had The Magpie's Return was named Best of July 2020 by Curtis Smith, who's the author, but it was named Best of July 2020 by Kirkus Reviews. I mean, you couldn't ask for anything more phenomenal than that. It's pretty big. We finalized a couple of authors who we are going to publish in 2021 that you guys are going to find out about during the speakeasy, who it is just, I mean, these guys are best in class, in some cases legendary authors, and so we're so excited to get them to you. It's going to be a really, really great time. So we laid a lot of really phenomenal groundwork in 2020 for 2021 and 2022. We also put out a short story anthology, and we had 5 stories that were nominated um, for um, for another award, which I'm fingers crossed they get that award, because it would be amazing. I actually was also nominated this year for the Forbes Next 1000, and it's basically the top 1,000 entrepreneurs who are like who are groundbreaking in the world. So we'll find out in 2021. But just being nominated is just, it's huge. So COVID definitely impacted us from a like a day-to-day operations perspective, but we just kept going. We kept acting like the amazing family we are, just really backing each other up, making sure everyone was okay, and getting through all of these challenging times to get these amazing stories to you guys. Oh, and obviously, we launched Rise this year. So you will find out again during the speakeasy all about three novels that are going to be coming out in 2021 through our Rise imprint. And I got to tell you, I think you guys are going to absolutely adore them. So, okay, so now I have a question for you. So you and I actually had,
yes.
So there's
Shoot.
Yeah, it's huge. So there's a whole nother event that we have every month, a Storytellers Happy Hour. We're going to have our next one actually quite soon. I believe it's going to be next week on Thursday. So you guys are going to have a lot of fun with that. I promise you, that's going to be a true blast. So with that one, Lisa was actually one of our guests on that Storytellers Happy Hour a little bit ago, and during it, she was like, "Oh my God, we need to have a red flag anthology." And I was like, "That's amazing! What an amazing idea!" So we actually in 2021, it's going to be edited by Lisa. We'll have It's a combination. You can submit essays, you can submit short stories, but something where a situation where you had red flags shot all over the place, like, "Oh my gosh, I shouldn't be here," or, "This shouldn't be happening," or "This person's kind of creepy. Maybe this isn't a good idea." Anything along those lines. You want to get us those stories. So again, Lisa is going to be the amazing editor for this. We are accepting submissions to the Red Flag Anthology now, and we will be accepting submissions, I believe, through the end of January. So my question, Lisa, is what is your vision for this anthology?
Yeah. So, I wrote I told this story, as Lisa said, at the Storytellers Happy Hour, and I have actually written a narrative poem about this story. So I was telling my friend about it. It was a dating story that unfolded over, I don't know, 10 years or something, when I was very young. And so my friend said, "Oh, you should," and I have other stories that are kind of similar that I've written up as fiction. My friend said, "Yeah, you should write a whole collection." But then when I mentioned it to Lisa, she said, "Let's do an anthology." And I actually thought that was a really great idea because we can bring everybody together. And, this writing business takes a lot of time. So it could take me, 3 or 4 years to actually do an entire collection of my own stories. So if we do an anthology, we can get those things out together. It's going to be sort of a modern love sort of kind of vibe to it, but I'm inviting people to do either nonfiction essays about your own stories, or do fictionalize it. But I think it's something that people delight in, because we all experience, almost all of us experience dating and the pitfalls of dating. And sometimes we end up in relationships for a long time and we think back, in hindsight is 2020. I recognize this sign and that sign and another sign that probably this wouldn't work out. And I think it's good for us to know that we're not alone in that. But it's Yeah, so I'm really excited. I'm going to be the editor of Red Flags. The submittable page is open until the end of January. And so if you want to submit something, please, I'm asking you, I'm calling out Teehee Hazlett specifically. Make sure you get something in there. And we'll have a look, and hopefully that'll, I don't know when it'll be ready, but maybe in a year or so.
Awesome. That's fantastic. Really looking forward to that. Okay, so do you have a question for me? And don't forget, guys. If you have any
Okay, so
questions-
is it my turn to ask you a question?
I just wanted to remind everyone, just if you've got a question, go ahead and put it in the comments, put it in the chat, and we would love, love, love to answer them. It can be about anything. It doesn't matter, whatever you want. So, okay, yep. Lisa, your turn. Ask away.
Yeah. So is it my turn to tell you a question?
Yeah.
Ask you a question?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So, where are you at in your journey as a publisher right now? Besides the challenges you had with 2020, how are you personally feeling about your journey as a publisher? I know you've been involved in publishing for many years, before this latest iteration of Running Wild Press, but tell us more about how you're feeling about this right now.
Oh, I think we are just doing some really, really stellar stuff. We have had some honors that I would have never imagined that we would have had this early in the game, like the Best of 2020s, like the Forbes nomination, and innumerable other honors. I really think we're at a really nice place in terms of our game, meaning, we're really putting out some fantastic stories that don't fit neatly in a box. I believe Rise has just a phenomenal future. I really can't wait to get those stories out to everyone and to really highlight those fantastic stories written by people of color, because they're going to blow everyone's minds away. I think 2021 and beyond, I think we've laid a really nice groundwork in the last 4 years. 2021 will be our 5-year anniversary. And we're actually planning a couple of, kind of fun surprises for everybody in 2021 in celebration of our 5-year anniversary. So I think we're only getting better. And I foresee that we are going to just continue to blow people's socks off and just get bigger and bigger. My personal goal is I want to see Running Wild LLC become the #1 independent publisher in the world, like, period. So I know we're going to hit that. I have absolutely no doubt. And I can't wait for that day to happen. It's going to be so amazing. And we actually are taking it even a step further in that it's not just publishing. We are actually have another big announcement on December 15th at 1 p.m. Pacific time in the live stream at our speakeasy to tell you about a couple other things we've got in our little pot that's getting ready to boil. So I think, again, you guys, you've got to keep going. You've got to stay with us. You are going to have an absolute blast. So cool. Okay. So
yeah,
now,
we're going to be interviewing, as I said, a lot of people.
Oh yeah, we're going to be interviewing a lot of people, and it's for about a lot of really awesome stuff. So, okay. Yeah. So I don't know that everyone knows this, but Lisa was the amazing host for a spoken word event that we had at the Association of Writers and Writing Programs in 2017. And it blew everyone's socks off, and I'm sure everyone's sitting here going, but Lisa, you say this about everything you people do. I'm just saying that we packed a bar at an event where there were multiple other events going on at the same time, but our bar was packed and we got so much great feedback. It was so well loved by everybody who attended it. It really did blow everyone's socks off. So, my question for you is, what hosted you? What inspired you to host that event, and how did you feel about it? Would you love to do something like that again? So,
It 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 was great. Yeah, it was in Portland, and I the year before, I'd been to Tampa to Association of Writers and Writing Programs, AWP. That was my first year I went to that particular event, I think, and you were there, and I went to a couple of poetry readings that were kind of so some of them were formally scheduled. Some of them were kind of underground pop-ups, and I had a great time, and I thought it was really fun. So that gave me the idea to do it the following year, and to invite people, some of our authors from Running Wild, to come do it. But it was also open mic. And yeah, we found this really cool bar that this guy let us have the space for free as long as we bought stuff. And he just hosts art happenings there. I don't know. It was very, and so, yeah, it was super fun. I like being a host. I like hosting. I like hosting parties. I like hosting art happenings. I've also been involved in dance, and I was an actor when I was young in college, and I've been a dance performer, and I love performing poetry, and I'm very involved in that in LA here. So, but I think one of my favorite events that I've ever either done or been involved with was that night, that cozy night we had in that bar in Portland. It was just, yeah, it was just so much fun. And the thing that was really cool was the diversity of people. That was all ages and all backgrounds, and just we all came together as one to support each other. And that was one thing that I really loved about it, was that it was so many different kinds of people coming together to just say, this is what we're interested in. This is my voice. This is what I look like. This is who I am. And we were all sitting there accepting each other, supporting each other, loving on each other, even total strangers. And it was just such a memorable night for that reason. And that's an atmosphere that I really like to want to foster, and like to foster, that, you know, older people, younger people, people from all kinds of backgrounds who come together and say, this is our, this is who we are. This is our community. This is who we represent in all kinds of ways. And I really want that atmosphere to be something that brings people together, and not divide people. Like, we've had so many issues with a divided community in our country this year, and I'm looking forward to doing that in person again, coming together. You know, I've done a few Zoom events in the last year, and I feel like that has been somewhat satisfactory, but there's you know, under the circumstances, but there's nothing like bringing people together to just you know, share their art and share it together and be supportive of one another.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Cool.
Yes. So that's one of the things I'm excited about with the Speakeasy event on Tuesday, is that, yes, it's online, but even in normal times, we'd have to do this event online anyway, because people are all over.
Mhm.
and we want to record it as a show. We want to broadcast it out to the world, and we would be doing this online anyway, even if it was a normal time, to bring the community together virtually, and which can be just as satisfying for sure.
Absolutely. Awesome. So we have one comment from Cree. I believe though it is in French, and I cannot. I only can read the "Hello Lisa" part. So, Cree, what I'm going to do is I'll go back and I'll look at it later, and I'll use a translator so that I can respond.
As I think it's yeah, I think it says, "Hi, Lisa," and this charming
Invitee.
invitation or a charming event.
I think it's
Yeah.
you.
Something along those lines.
Mm-hmm. So, hey, Cree, it's awesome to see you.
All right. Hello.
Okay, so do you have a question for me?
Yes. Well, we're both. Yes. So, what excite you've touched on this a little bit already, but what excites you about the coming year? Not just for Running Wild Press, but you personally.
Sure. So a lot of it we're going to talk about at our December 15th event at 1 p.m. Pacific time. Definitely tune in. It'll be on YouTube, it'll be on Twitter, and it'll be on Facebook Live. So you don't want to miss that. But one of the things that we actually just announced yesterday is a partnership with the Pixel Project. And the Pixel Project is a nonprofit that their goal is to eliminate violence against women. And that includes like in a digital realm as well. And when they first reached out to me and asked if we would want to partner with them, I didn't hesitate. I knew that was absolutely something that we'd be thrilled to put out there. So that is scheduled to come out September 1st. You're going to hear a lot more about this, as well as some of the phenomenal authors, because they are recruiting like the best of the best authors to be in this anthology. So you want to tune in on the 15th to find out about that and find out more about the authors who have been recruited to be in this short story anthology, because it really is going to be pretty amazing. So that's one. I'm super excited for all of the books that we have on our slate. We actually currently, so what we're going to announce on the 15th are really only books that are scheduled to be published in the first half of 2021. We're going to have a similar event around the beginning of around the middle of the second half of 2021 for the second half of our catalog for 2021. So it's just a way to make sure that everybody gets some really good focused time to talk about their stories. I'm excited too because we are going to be announcing another huge announcement in 2020 about 2020, and I really think it lays a really nice groundwork for everything that we're going to be doing in 2021. So I'm very excited about that. I'm thrilled. We're actually bringing on a few more people on board for Running Wild to help with all of the production work, because there's a ton of work. I mean, I know you guys don't see it. All you know is, oh, look, I've got an ebook. Oh, look, I've got a paperback. Oh, here's an audio book, and it looks so easy. But the reality is the time it takes in order to get a book out there from the moment that we sign a book and it goes through the editorial process or the editing process, and then everything that has to happen with production and marketing and social media and, I mean, formatting the actual book, that takes a lot of time. And so, we actually kind of, I call it front loading. So we front loaded a lot of that activity so that in 2021 and 2022, it'll be a little more simplified for everybody, less pressure. And actually, right now, this second, as we are sitting here talking, we have 5 editors that we work with regularly, and they are going through the top 100 submissions that we've received so far. And they're picking their top 3 to 5 stories that they want to work on in 2021. So I am going to be really, really excited to announce, or what rather, in the end, 1 or 2 in 2021 and the rest in 2022. So I'm going to be really excited to announce to everybody once we have those authors for 2022 signed and ready to go. Because I think, again, you guys are going to be floored at these great stories. We have lots of amazing more events planned for 2021. We actually, as I mentioned, about some celebrations of the fact that it's our 5-year anniversary. We're actually going to work with a company where we can package all of the like short story anthologies. So you would get all 5 years of short story anthology books in like a special edition package. And the same thing with all of our novella anthologies. Now that's pretty phenomenal because almost every year we had stories that were nominated for awards in both the novella anthologies and in the short story anthologies. So you're getting some really quality, some really amazing work. Plus, a few of these have already been sought after by producers for potentially being made into films or TV shows. So again, some really great stuff out there that we're gonna just keep bringing forward to you. So I think you guys, again, you're gonna love 2021. A lot of things to be excited about, a lot of great activity, and we're gonna have a lot of fun.
Yes, lots of exciting things to come up. And I'm going to be an editor this coming year with Red Flags. So I'm excited about that. Really excited, really excited about that, to see what we can put together, because I think it's going to be a big hit. I really do. And talk about option. There might be, a lot of potential in the in that aspect. In fact, tell us a little bit more about what you've been working on in that area, and having creative licensing or permission to have the stories from Running Wild and other work optioned.
Oh, sure. So we've actually.
I'm not sure if I'm using the right terminology, but.
Yeah, it's it's called optioning. We actually, so one of the things that we have been working on behind the scenes is kind of taking the concept of optioning to another level and offering some of the best stories, some of the best novels that we have for franchise. So that's where it's a package, and those stories are offered so that they can be translated to TV, film, make cool t-shirts with some of the more fun quotes from the stories, comic books, whatever, right? So we are moving forward with that, and that is something that you're going to hear more about on December 15th at 1 p.m. Pacific time. We actually already do have a couple of stories that have been optioned by different producers in order for them to be brought forward to studios. And so, that's not necessarily something that I'm actively a part of. It's more like they come to us, they say, hey, I want to option this. And we say, all right, let's talk to the author, or let's talk to the author's agent and the author in order to see where they want to take this, or if this is something they're interested in. So it's a lot of fun. And it's great because in today's market, and this is, well, I mean, it's true. Like, think about how you ingest story today. You go online, you read stories, you listen to stories, You're seeing characters in a variety of capacities. You know, it's not like it was, you know, 10 years ago even, where, you know, you'd read a story and then that was it, right? So like you pick up a book and you read it and you're like, oh well, that was a great story, and you were done. You know, today, um, you like, I mean, Harry Potter's a great example, right? Um, Today, some of the most phenomenal characters and the most phenomenal stories that you have heard about all started with a short story, or started with a novella, or started with a novel. And so instead of it being kind of like an accident, you know, we think it should be done more actively, so that, you know, you are being entertained and you are getting those stories that you love, um, out the gate, no matter where you are. And it could be on your phone, it could be on your laptop, you know, it could be in the bookstore, it could be at the library, it could be in a museum, whatever the case may be. So it's really going to be a lot of fun. So I hope you can hear me, because it's a little bit grainy. Um, so in case
Yeah,
you
I
can,
can.
you can. Okay, good. All right. So my question
Okay.
for you, my question for you. You are known, you're well known for your skills in spoken word events, and you kind of referenced already that, you know, you do a lot of live poetry events. What guidance can you give our viewers on who may be interested in participating in an event?
Um, yeah, I was thinking about this. Hmm. I it's not. I could give some like really practical guidelines about going about doing it, but it's also something that you need to just love, uh, love to do. I like. I don't know. I was born with the performance gene, I guess you could call it, and I it's not that it's hard to describe, because it's just it's something that I think people have in them, or maybe they don't, but can develop it. So if you want to read your work out loud to people, I think that writers, okay, I'll put it this way. I think writers definitely want, more than anything, for people to read their work or hear their work or see their work. You know, it's not about, certainly not about money. It's certainly not about, I mean, for me, it's not about money or fame or anything like that. It's about sharing stories, making people laugh, making people think, making people smile, be caught up in a story, be caught up in the moment. And definitely um, reading poetry aloud is a way to help people be caught up in the moment and not worrying about what's behind them and what's ahead of them, but just be focused on the ideas and the journey that's right there in front of them, and doing that together. It's like live theater, right? Where I saw Hamilton with 3,000 other people, and you could hear a pin drop right at the most dramatic moment, and everybody sharing that together is just there's nothing like it. So it'll be great to get back to being able to do those things live. But so that's just kind of some airy fairy background feelings about it. I've been, I don't know. I like to say all the time that I'm not bossy. I just have leadership skills. So when I was in fourth grade, my teacher had a Super 8 camera, and she wanted us to do some kind of production. And I look back now and think how like forward thinking that was. I remember really loving that fourth grade teacher. I had her for fifth grade too. I had her for 2 years in a row. And not all of the other kids were like, they didn't know what to do, but I did. For some reason, I knew what to do. I wrote a play. I gave people parts. I made sure they brought costumes. I was the director and I starred in it. And it was all about our unit for learning about the gold rush. I think you learn in California, that's part of the curriculum, is you learn about the California gold rush when you are in fourth grade. And so I directed this whole play for my fourth grade class that we just shot in our classroom. And so I don't know. It's just part of something that I really like to do and to enjoy doing. And it's been in me since the beginning. So my day job is that I'm a college professor, so I get to use that all the time by just being in front of people and talking with them and helping them to learn and grow and change and all of that kind of stuff. But some practical things is if you want to read your work out loud, you need to practice. I've never been a performer of poetry who memorized my work. I probably should do that at some point, but I've always read my work, and there's nothing wrong with that. But you should practice. You should have it either on a piece of paper or on an iPad or something that's in big letters. Always slow down. If you make mistakes, don't, freak out about it. Just keep rolling, keep going. Just own it and feel comfortable in your own skin and just kind of go for it. I suggest that there's usually a poetry society or a book club in, a meetup kind of situation in your local area. I've just always done these events through friends and finding out about it through friends, and then that leads to another thing, and it leads to another thing. I did a one-woman show reading at Beyond Baroque, which is the LA Poetry Center. It's been there since the 60s. That was a really a big highlight in doing I think I did a half an hour program with and then shared the stage with a couple of other people. And again, I kind of already touched on the how satisfying that is and how great that is. And so just even if you just start with one thing, just read one piece. Another thing is to try not to go too long either. Like comedians have a 5-minute set at most usually, right? And that's people can go on too long. You don't want to do that. I did make that mistake a little bit early on when I was reading some of my work in public. I wanted to do more, but because it was fun and exciting, but editing down yourself to have a 5-minute set like comedians do, that's a good idea. Less is sometimes more in that kind of situation. And if that means you're doing a longer piece that takes 5 minutes, then you just do that one thing. So that's one of the things I've learned in producing spoken word shows and variety show. I did one variety show as well for charity. And that's to make sure that you tell people you get 5 minutes or you get 3 minutes. That's something that you should keep in mind, because people's attention span is only so long. And you can make a bit bigger impact too if you do something that's more short and sweet. I love going and seeing other authors read. I mean, I've seen David Sedaris when I was a kid. I saw Madeleine L'Engle read actually one time when I was a kid, and that was very inspiring. She wrote A Wrinkle in Time, and I enjoy that. But those people have directors who work with them and producers who work with them, and they know how long to go for. Oh, and I saw at the LA Public Library, I can't remember the lady's name now, but she just won like a big poetry award recently. But I got to see her a couple of years ago. That was really fun and really nice. And to watch other people, and even if you just start with something small, and that's kind of what I'm leading to. So during this pandemic, I for Halloween, I had 3 other people over in my backyard, and we were masked up, and we sat around the little fireplace thing in my backyard, and we read to each other work at a podium next to a little fireplace outside. And these are people who are kind of in my bubble, who might know that they've been tested and all of that stuff. It was perfectly safe, but we just did it with 4 people in our backyard, and we made sandwiches and popcorn, and we dressed up, and we did it with 4 people in my backyard, had a spoken word show in October. So yeah, I do, whether it's an audience of 3 people or 3,000 people, to me, the experience is the same. And just to be focused on what you have it is in front of you, and who you have in front of you is the most important part of it. The essence of it is the same. I think it's the same, whether it's 3 or 3,000 people that you're reading to. And I know people get nervous. I don't seem to have that problem. I don't get nervous. I think when I first started teaching when I was really young, I did get nervous talking in front of people. But when I was younger, I taught high school in the beginning of my teaching career, and then I moved to teaching college. But if you stand up in front of a class of 40 teenagers every single day for 5 years, 5 times a day, you kind of get over it. You kind of get over yourself, and everything happens to you. And plus, I had done acting when I was younger too, on stage and so on. And so I get a little nervous, but I think there's a healthy nerves, and then there's the kind of nerves that are more debilitating. And yeah. So the funniest thing that ever happened to me when I was teaching high school was I had this really good class. I taught advanced placement, mostly advanced placement when I taught high school. The beyond honors, the really good smart students, because believe it or not, nobody else wanted to do it because it was really hard work. It was a lot of hard work. But I had this really great class. They were really good kids. We had a wonderful time together. But this one day I came into class, and they were all going, like, laughing. I'm like, this is a really good class. Why are you guys laughing at me? I'm like, what is going on? And I launched into the lesson for the day, and I'm like, guys, what's happening? I don't know what's going on. Well, it turned out I had gone on my lunch break, and I came back into my classroom, and I guess I'd pull the toilet paper up into my pants, and I had this long stream of toilet paper stuck coming out of my pants. And that's why they were so sweet and so polite and respectful that they didn't want, but they couldn't help but laugh. I'm like, guys, you should have told me I have toilet paper sticking out of my pants. So I guess that's my metaphor for learning to be comfortable with public speaking is that you just, if you have toilet paper stuck to your pants, it's not the end of the world. I mean, all of the best performers and the most experienced performers in the world have had the equivalent of toilet paper sticking out of their pants. So at some point, you just kind of got to get over yourself and realize it's they're just people too. I don't know, the whole thing of imagining people in the audience naked never has helped me. I mean, I don't understand that. I mean, I guess the idea behind it is that they're just people too, and they're, you know, everybody's the same. But that doesn't work for me. I would find it highly distracting if I sat there thinking about everybody being naked. I would rather, they're just clothes, just clothing, please. Yeah, that advice never worked for me. But knowing, you know, if you make a mistake or something weird's going on, it's not the end of the world. You just got to keep rolling. And I've done tons of dance performing in the last few years of choreographed work, as well as improvisational work in swing dancing and tango and blues dancing. I've taught blues dancing and tango dancing before. And yeah, sometimes you make mistakes, but you just the show's got to go on at some point. And I'm never satisfied at the end of the performance when it comes to dance. When I'm reading poetry, yeah, I guess maybe I always have that moment of, oh, I wish I could do it again. But I think all artists are like that. They all want to change it. You know, I just heard Jerry Seinfeld the other day on, I think it was Jimmy Fallon for Thanksgiving. And he just put out a book of all of his work and his jokes from the last, I don't know how long he's been doing it, for 40 years or whatever. And Jimmy asked him, hey, do you see this work and think, oh, I could change it and make it better? And he said, of course. You always want to change things and make them better. But if you just are overly focused on that too much, then you're not going to enjoy the moment, and you're not going to be in the moment, and you're not going to make those memories of sharing something with the crowd, or sharing something with an audience or students or whoever it is they are, your readers, your whoever, your colleagues too. I've done tons and tons of training for colleagues, and so yeah, that was my answer to that. I don't know if I gave anybody any guidance, but maybe a little bit to just be yourself. Practice. I know my motto for life is to plan the, you know what, out of everything, and then once you've put all your plans in place, just go with the flow, because inevitably something is going to go wrong with that, and something's going to happen, or it's not going to be perfect. But I'm not sure that there's anything in the life that deserves to be perfect, because it's in the interesting bits are in the imperfections.
That's fantastic advice. I'm sure everyone got something out of it. Like that was fabulous. Thank you so much. For anyone who's watching,
You're welcome.
again, if you have a question for Lisa or for me, go ahead, pop it in the chat. If you're not watching on December 12th at 1 or 2 p.m. Pacific time, that's not a big deal. Go ahead, pop the question in the chat, because I'm going to go back and I'm going to be looking for questions here and there. And I'll be more than happy to answer those questions either when I see them, or we'll answer them in the subsequent Ask Us Anything. So with that, we have 5 minutes left. I don't know, Lisa, if you have any other questions for me.
Let's see. I think I pretty much covered everything that I planned to talk about. We talked about what your takeaways are from 2020, what you're looking forward to as a publisher, all of the exciting things. They're really, I mean, if you really write down a list of all of the things that have happened in just 4 years to Running Wild Press, it's really impressive.
Mm.
With all of the mentions and all of the things that are coming. And I just have to say, as your friend, that you've done such an amazing job with this. Start what has started out to be a passion project, but it's going to go beyond that, and is meant a lot to a lot of people. And I think that that will just continue to grow um, as time goes by. So, yay, awesome.
Yeah, and honestly, it's totally been um, a real community effort, because I think when we really we have the same 5 editors: Barbara Lockwood, Peter Wright, Benjamin White, um, and Andrew DePizio, and because we just added Andrew last year, and Rebecca, her maiden name is Dimian, and Rebecca is a phenomenal editor that I know from my MFA. And once we brought on those incredible editors, it really, really opened up a lot of amazing doors and a lot of opportunities, just because we could just work on a lot more fantastic stories than we could before. So, like I mentioned earlier, there are about 100 like final submissions that the editors are picking from, each one to pick like 3 to 5 that they want to work on. And so, for those of you who are watching, that you may have been submitted to us, please, please, please understand, it's not that we're sitting there saying, of these 100, these, basically 20 stories are better than the other 80. It's more that, we have to pick those stories that we're most passionate about, because we have a limited slate. We only publish between like 15 to 20 books per year. And so, with that in mind, it's more of a we've got to go with those things that we're really passionate about, and so when we see the story, we're like, this, we have to publish this. Again, it's nothing against your story. It's totally just a volume that we can actually cover within a year. Ralph Reels asks, I always stumble onto your AMAs. Hey, Ralph. Is there a schedule? Absolutely, Ralph. There is a schedule. So the schedule is, we are every Saturday at 2 p.m. Pacific time. And you can pick us up on Facebook. I see you're seeing us on Facebook. You can pick it up on Twitter, and you can pick it up on YouTube. So just log in at that time. We always record this, so you can always check this out afterwards. So in the future, like let's say, you're like, oh man, I'm busy at 2 p.m. Pacific time this Saturday. It's not a big deal, because we always leave that live stream for you, so you can that recording, so you can check it out, and then just ask us whatever you want. Again, we're more than happy to answer. So with that, I want to thank Lisa for joining me. This has been so much fun. We are going to have such a blast on Tuesday. For everyone who joined us, thank you, thank you, thank you. We love you guys. We can't wait to see you again in our another Ask Us Anything. And if you guys need anything, go to runningwildpress.com. You can also just message me in whatever forum, whether it's YouTube, Facebook, or Twitter, and I'm more than happy to chat. All right. Well, thanks, everybody. Have a fantastic Saturday. Talk to you soon.